Well, good afternoon. This is Manoj Kejha, and this is our second interactive session in the series of 4 or 5 interactive sessions that we have planned for those who are going to write next year, those who are going to take up this examination next year. Certain things we discussed in the previous session, and it was more about the basic orientation. But today we are going to discuss hardcore about the examination, the requirement, the pattern, the trend, mistakes, how to overcome it, and generally the kind of experience we have, that kind of experience, we are going to share with you. See, needless to say, this examination is tough, very difficult. Just see one figure and then you will realize why this examination is difficult. If you go by the annual reports that UPSC used to publish every year, I don't know whether you know or don't, but UPSC used to publish every year annual report. In annual report, you will see that there is a gist of various examination that UPSC used to conduct. And in that, you will see certain informations regarding civil services examination also. Now, last year, they have uploaded the annual report of 2014 because that is the latest. Now, you will see there are certain things. That total number of applicant was 9.47 lakh. Fine. Out of this, some 4.46 lakh appeared in preliminary examination. And then ultimately, only approximately 16,000 were competent enough, lucky enough to write mains. And then approximately 1100 approximately got final selection. And then if you see the kind of job you are looking for, the kind of aspiration you have, certainly that is not going to you can say satisfied with the lower ranks, the kind of jobs you are going to get at the bottom. So ultimately, if you see, then ultimately that 400 to 450 candidates are there who used to get IAS, IPS, IRS, and customary excise to an extent you can say, and then some other services. Now, this figure is not, you can say, if it is 9 lakh or 10 lakh or 15 lakh or some 50 lakhs a student appearing, it does not mean this examination is tough. And that figure doesn't make this examination difficult. But what makes this examination difficult is this. To get a dream job, you have to be in 400, 300, 200, 100. And to be positioned here, every half marks, 1 marks is very, very crucial. This is why this examination is difficult. Not because some 9 lakh, 10 lakh, 4 lakh students are appearing, or syllabus is very wide, syllabus is very vast, you have to read too many things. It's not like that. This is not because you are competent enough and then you must, you can say, whether you are from engineering background or humanities background or medical science background, doesn't matter, because you will see that at least Anil Kumble has proved that it's always engineers are very successful provided he left his original field. and then he enters into the different field. And so after engineering, leaving the engineering, he is very successful as a cricketer, also coach also. So you are also going to test yourself in the field after doing so many things. You can say the engineering, medical, or whatever the streams you are from. Now you are going to take up this examination. And so you have capabilities, potential to work for 10 hours, to work for 15 hours, to read too many books. But my question to you, is it a criteria to qualify this examination? Because the nature, or usually the way we used to talk, that this examination is changing. The nature of this examination is gradually changing. Nature in the sense that the pattern of the questions are gradually, you will see, are more dynamic, more contemporary. When we say more dynamic, more contemporary, it means you need to be very prompt. You must have the ability to think on the spot, and you should be very, very articulated. Now when I say articulated, it simply means I can ask you a question, who are you? A simple question, who are you? Then you can say that I am a student, my name is XYZ, and I am from such and such place, and then I am an engineering or engineering graduate, something like that. But is it you can say, a very compelling way to address or to speak about yourself? Probably not. It's not arranged. Though you are right, what I'm trying to say, though you are right, but it's not a very well arranged. This is called articulation. So when you are under pressure in those 3 hours, even though you know so many things, it becomes very, very difficult to recall all the things, and then to be very objective, very focused, and very articulative. For that, you need conceptual clarity, that you need more and more revision, for that you need very good notes, for that you need very sound practice, so that in those 3 hours, your performance could be at the highest level. Though you will commit certain mistakes, but the number of mistakes should be as minimum as possible. For example, I give you a very simple question. A very simple question I gave you, very, very simple question. The question is, what is trust? A very simple question. From our childhood, we know the meaning of this word. What is trust? How trust is sustained? What steps you will take to become more trustworthy professional in your working life? Now, I ask you a very simple question. To answer it, what kind of study material you are going to get? What kind of teaching you required? What kind of mentoring you required? But certainly, there are certain questions, though we say we are familiar with, we can answer with our common sense. It is often this word used by many candidates. Okay, there are certain things you can use the common sense. But now it's very, very important to be very specific, to be direct, to be focused, and then at the same time you have to be more, you can say, present a compelling narrative than the others, because this examination demands this. A slight mistake, or even not mistake, a slight inferior quality of question, of answer, will kick you out of the race. So it's what I'm trying to say, this is why, from this perspective you need to understand this examination. Not from this perspective that, okay, this is a very tough examination, so you have to read too many books, too many study materials, some 10 hours, 20 hours. It is not going to help at all, because output is more important. So even if your output in the 4 or 5 hours is good, it's good. If that kind of output is not there in 8 to 10 hours, then what to do? Now, having said so, now see the nature of this examination trend. Though I don't believe in trend, but there is certain thing called trend in terms of, you can say, the marks, the pattern of marks, not in terms of the question, because questions, the nature of the pattern of the questions can be changed next year. We don't know. We are not very sure. And even who is trying to guess is very suicidal for this examination. But certainly, we have certain ideas, or you can say, by going through the cutoff, we can have certain idea about the performance and the ability of each and every paper to perform by the individuals. Now, I give you certain things. Now see, CSAT was introduced in 2011. So if you see the cutoff of PT for 2011, 12, 13, 14, you will see the trend was more or less inclined to the CSAT. Now since CSAT is not there, there is no need to talk about. But certainly, one thing is very clear from the nature of, you can say, the cutoff and the pattern of the cutoff. You will see that though in 2012 the cutoff was 209, in 2013 it increased to 241. See, in the PT itself, because of the nature of question, it was little bit at the easy end, you can say, or students were very well prepared, they performed well, and then the cutoff went little bit higher. But at the next year, very next year, you can say, in 2014, again, despite the fact that there was CSAT, this cutoff was as less as 205. Everyone, because the nature of mental ability questions, English language comprehension was little bit difficult, and it was just they twist little bit and then cutoff went down. Fine. Now last year, in the new scheme of things, the PT cutoff is approximately 107. Fine. Now we don't know how it is going to be next year, means this year. It can be same also, it can be less also, it can be more also. It depends upon your preparation also, but it largely depends upon the nature of the questions they are going to set, even though you are very well prepared. Now come to the main thing, that is mains. From 2013 till main examination is same, and till any further recommendations come, it will remain same, and mains is not going to be changed as far as general studies is concerned. Don't worry for that. It is not going to be, so don't wait for anything. It is not going to be. Now you see, in 2013, mains cutoff was 564. In 2014, it is 278, and in 2015, it is 676. And the final cutoff in the 13, 775, 8, 8, 9, 8, 7, 7. This is a very big story, because this is one thing that UPSC gives you, and then we are very, very clear about the performance of the subjects. Now you see, to crack this examination, obviously, and to define and design our strategy, we develop certain strategy, and to develop that strategy, we largely base our strategy on certain kind of informations. For example, in 2013, we were not aware that what kind of questions they are going to give in the main examination, how much questions one candidate has to write in 3 hours, and then since it was new pattern, the cutoff was very less, because everybody felt to perform, and largely in paper 1, 2, 3, but many candidates performed extraordinary in paper 4. It was the first year of ethics. Ethics were introduced. So 100 was, or 90 was very common. 90, 95, 98, something like that. In the second year, you will see that paper 1 performed little bit better. Again, very interesting. Paper 2 failed to perform again. Here also. Paper 3 relatively better, and paper 4 also again performed excellent. Fine. Now, here you will see that paper 1 performed exceptionally good. That is history, geography, society, world history. Paper 2, disaster, lowest, consecutive 3 years. Then paper 3, that is economy, science, environment, security, performed exceptionally good. Those who were very, very competent in current affairs, this paper went in their favor, and they managed to perform 110, 115, 120, something like that. Paper 4, disaster. Means some 60, 55, 58 and something like that. Those who managed to qualify even this examination with good rank, even they scored some 88, 85, barring few who managed to cross, you can say 105 or approximately 110. Now, one thing is very, very interesting here. Now, in here you will see that candidate develop a general perception. On the basis of that perception, they design their strategy also. That to qualify this examination, paper 4, essay and optional is very scoring, so work hard more in these areas, and then these 3 areas will help you to sail through and to reach Mussoorie. But this year, this failed to do so, because essay even didn't, you can say, went in favor of many candidates. Paper 4 is the same case, and optional, it depends. It depends upon, you can say, the performance of the optional. Now, what I'm trying to say is here, number 1, there is no trend of UPSC. You can't say that this is a trend of UPSC, despite the fact that this year paper 4 failed to perform, despite the fact that potential remains very high, because candidates got good marks. You can say numbers are very less, but then they got the number. There are examples who got the number 1, you can say 110 also. Sushil, Rohan, what is the rank of Rohan? one candidate is from Maharashtra who got 113, to whom I know. And then there are many candidates who scored 100 plus. But there are examples who scored very less, and last year they performed good in paper 4. Now again, the right from the day you start your preparation, you start with, most of the time you can say, you start with polity. Daily you used to spend some 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours to the newspaper, various newspapers, magazine, and then in that process also you throw maximum time to polity, economy and IR mostly, minus some of the filmy gossips. अगर उसको माइनस करें तो बाकी तो ये 3 ही एरियाज हैं सबसे ज्यादा आप टाइम देते हैं. फाइन. Now, irony, see the irony, that most of the coaching institutes also start their teaching from the polity itself. And see the performance. Here also 40, 50, 60 marks. Also 60, 70, 75. Here also 60, 65, 50, 55 and something like that. So, my question to you, by going through too many books, by giving too many hours to one area, why people are failed to perform? सबसे ज़्यादा material polity में ही तो available है ना? You can't say anything that is not available in the polity. Right from fundamental of constitution to the constitution law to the cases to the, so many things are there, and everything is available to you, to the Google, at the book sales, bookstores. Everything is at finger. You click, you will get the new book of the polity. But it is not working. Now, my question to you is, why? A very simple question. Why? Despite the fact that we expose ourselves to the one area where subject, you can say the content is available, you throw maximum time, you are very comfortable in, then why you fail to perform? Dr. Piyush Chaubey is here. He will discuss certain things about the paper 2 particularly, so I am not going to discuss most of the things. But we both would be taking this session. And then my area is also just my concern is just to explore where are the anxiety in the whole process of preparation, where are the marks, what to do, what not to do, because there are popular perceptions for this examination. Everyone throws the suggestions. This is what I am also doing. But instead of throwing too many suggestions, I will try to explore do's and don'ts. For example, my next example is, you see, the selection of optionals. Often we go by the popular pattern or the marks or the trend. Again, if you go by UPSC's annual report, you will see that there are only 7-8 subjects where some more than 75-80% candidate used to take this examination with as optional. Like history is there, geography is there, public administration, pol science, psychology, philosophy, and something like that. These are the popular subjects, sociology for that matter. Now, last year, or you can say some 2 years back, public administration were relatively doing better, and more candidates were going to join that. But in the last 2 or 3 years, that failed to perform at the, you can say, the level of expectation of the candidates. Then most of the candidates gradually shift to new popular domain, that is geography. Last year, that again failed to perform, and then I have seen that again that stream is leaving their subject and moving towards new or greener pasture. We don't know next year that will remain green or not. That pasture will remain green or not, we don't know. So what I am trying to say is, always try to see this examination from two things. What is the purpose of this examination and why continuously there is a change? What kind of change is there? Ultimately there is reason why this examination is gradually become more and more dynamic. Despite the fact that you read too many hours, you have to take on the spot. Whether you join this coaching, this material, that material, doesn't matter. The only thing is that we are trying to give you more familiarity with the syllabus, more practice, less mistakes, rest depends upon you. To be very fair, rest depend upon. Now, after this, once you start preparation, you have to see from two things, the purpose and the syllabus. For me, syllabus is sacrosanct. Nothing you can say except syllabus and previous questions. Nothing is important. That is the only thing that talks about the UPSC. No coaching, no faculty, no senior, no junior, no successful candidate, no who could not qualify, doesn't matter at all. चाहे बात हम भी यहाँ पे कर लें, कोई भी कर ले, doesn't matter at all. The thing is that syllabus, previous question. Syllabus, more you work closer to the syllabus, probably you can say the highest is the chance to qualify this examination. Now, and to crack, you can say, this examination, often you talk about the integrated preparation. We also talk about the integrated preparation. Now, you will see that before or 2013, yes, to an extent you can say integrated preparation was very helpful, because in general study main examination there were only 2 papers. Now here in the new scheme of things, there are certain things which is exclusively designed for paper, or you can say GS mains, which is of no help to preliminary examination. But there are certain areas which is dedicated to the preliminary examination, or you can say there are certain topics by nature. There are certain topics which you can treat for the preliminary examination also, for the main examination also, and then there are few areas which is exclusively demands the approach for the main examination, more analytical, more you can say you need to illustrate the things, analyze the things, explain, discuss and certain things. Now, it depends upon how you treat the syllabus, how you treat certain subjects, how you treat one topic for this examination, and then how do you see from preliminary perspective, how do you see the same topic from mains perspective. I just give you one brief example. Let's talk about the geography, fine, and then the most common topic I would say, allow me to take, is soil. I am taking this topic because this topic carries equal potential for preliminary examination also and for the main examination also. But how do we see? Depends. Now there are one thing, that is soil formation. Fine. Then soil structure. Fine. Now you can go for the profile, means the different layers of the soil, O, A, E and something like that. Now there is certain thing called soil chemistry, soil types, etc. Fine. Now this is, you will see that most of the things here, either the soil formation, the soil type, chemistry, profile, soil structure, etc., are very close to the demand of the preliminary examination. So you should be very, very aware that, okay, fine, these are the finer or minute details you are going to cover for the preliminary examination. And once, at the beginning itself, once you start to study the topic, at the beginning itself, if you develop a structure, you develop a frame, you develop an insight, okay, fine, this is how you are going to cover the topic, probably your job is done. Your job is done. And then now there are certain things, if you remember, then it's very easy to eliminate the choices, to go with certain choices. Because often you will see in the preliminary examination these days, this is the most difficult, I tell you, most difficult part to crack. When there is no CSAT, only GS is there, only 100 questions is there, and 2 questions or 1 question here and there, or you may be inside or outside. There is no chance to recover it, because previously there were chances. Because if you fail to perform here, you could try in CSAT areas. Before that, again there were chances. You failed to perform, options were there in the preliminary examination, when 120 questions were asked for. So if you failed here, you compensate 2 and 3 questions from there, or if you fail there, then 1 or 2 questions you can compensate from here to balance your preparation. There is nothing called balance. Either perform or go or perish. Now, to develop any soil, this is very important that there are few factors. If you just remember to develop CL, clot, climate, organism, relief, parent material and time. And then, and to understand its a type, you can see this is largely influenced by climate, means any soil which is largely influenced by the climate, it has to be mostly, is, you can get a clue here, if largely influenced by the parent materials, then it could be here, and then if it is not fully developed. So what happens, like if these kind of basic structure information is arranged, then you can go for elimination, you can go for selection in the preliminary examination. But this is not required for the main examination. For the main examination, you need to be more analytical, more thorough with the recent developments. Now you see, from the same topic, I am taking another for main examination, and that I am writing just 2 things. What are the problems related with the soil? And number 2, how to solve it. I will keep myself brief, as my dear friend Dr. Piyush Chauve has told me not to take much time. And then so anyway, but see, now from here onwards, once you understand the soil problems, erosion, degradation, and then how this problem is accelerated or increasing because of the human intervention, here comes the role of deforestation. Here comes the role of maximum use or increasing use of fertilizer. Here comes the news of green revolution. The problem arises because of the green revolution. Here comes the Punjab. Here comes the current affairs. Here comes the popular newspapers article and so on. Here, not at all. So once you are aware, okay, fine, this is how you have to develop a structure of a topic. These are the context, these are the points, these are the analysis required, then probably your job is, you can say, half done. Not fully, but half done. At least clarity is there. And then this is going to be the method of our teaching also. From the very first day, every topic we will take, we will first discuss the broad structure, what is important for PT, what is mains, what is trained, what are the questions has been asked previous years, and then let's proceed gradually. So this is how you have to develop one topic, another topic, and so on. But at the same time, there are topics, there are areas which demands exclusive for the main examination, that demands a very analytical presentation, expression. For example, paper 4, for example, you can say security also not required in preliminary examination, world affairs also, world history also to an extent, say. So now in these areas you will see that every question or most of the questions in the main examination carries one indication attached to the question, and that is XYZ comment, question number this, and then explain, discuss, analyze, critically analyze. My question to you is, why UPSC follow these kind of things in framing the question? And then you will see that these indications are the crux around which you have to answer. This is the biggest problem, you can say, the limitations of a candidate or of the candidates that I have witnessed personally, that despite the fact that they know, but when it comes to the analysis, it comes to the directly addressing the demand of the question, then problems comes. Otherwise, believe me, the 25-30,000 candidates, those who are, or it may be more or less, those who are very serious and the real competition lies among them only, all are at par as far as content is concerned, as far as information is concerned. You can't say he is good in information, he is poor in information. Everyone is at par as far as information is concerned. But how meticulously you have prepared, how potentially you have to remain dynamic, to remain relevant in those 3 hours, that gives edge of 10, 15, 20 marks. You are in, somebody is in between, somebody are out. So these are certain things. You can say, apart from syllabus, this is why I am not discussing paper 4 essay or something like that. That demands a very good understanding, very good expression, and then you can say, as remaining as relevant as far as demand of the questions are concerned. I just take one example, I will not take much time. See, essay is of 250 marks. Usually, candidate used to put very less attention to it because they presume and they follow the notion that this is one area that they will manage somehow, so they should not be worried about. But if you see this year result, you will see that many candidates were through because of the essay also, and few candidates failed to perform or failed to enter because of the essay also. So you need to understand, you need to cultivate the ideas, you need to analyze those ideas. For example, last to last year one essay topic was there, greater power comes with the greater responsibility. For this, you don't have to read too much, but obviously if you are able to cultivate the ideas, then it is sufficient. The first question arises, power. What is power? Power lies with whom? Is power is all about the politics, or we need to go or explore some other things also? Power may come, or it comes with the wealth also. Power also comes with the knowledge. So the knowledgeable person, intellectuals are also very powerful. Wealthy person are also very powerful. Political, those who lies in the power corridor, they are very powerful. So when it says power or greater power comes with a greater responsibility. So unless you cultivate a broader frame that, okay, I see power in this way, with this perspective, unless you can't remain relevant in those 1000 or 1200 words. Either you are going to be half done, either you are going to overemphasize on certain areas. So how do you see the topic? How do you see the context? How do you see the different dimension? This is where this examination's marks lies in nutshell. What I was trying to convey is that this examination is all about a score, nothing else. Either you are that side of the cutoff or you are this side of the cutoff. That's it, nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. A score is the only truth of this examination. Marks is the only truth of this examination. Either you cross the line or you fail to cross the line, nothing else. And to do so, you need to harness all the potential in and around the subject, you can say the syllabus, understand the syllabus, break the syllabus. Just last 1 minute, I will take with one example that these days, I do remember when we appeared for this examination, then information or availability of information was the first criteria to choose to prepare, either of the optional or certain things, because that time Google was not there, and then you can say magazines were very less. So one newspaper was sufficient, and then, but these days you will see that there is an information overload. You click one thing, you demand one thing, and you will get some 1000 pages, 2000 pages, 10,000 pages, and something like that. For example, in the last 1 decade, you can say, in the last 10 years, one subject, one topic around which maximum write-ups, research paper, and you can say articles have been published is inclusive growth. Inclusive growth, this is one topic which is mentioned in the paper 3, and you will see there are a number of materials are available. Government ki report hai, article hai, research hai, so many things. Now, unless you are very clear about certain things, that right from meaning and concept of inclusion till you can say the inclusion, the nature or you can say the social sector initiatives, the nature of economic growth, why inclusion, what is the Indian experience in this regard, India's growth story, recent development, for example, financial inclusion as a tool for inclusive growth, and certain things. So once you are clear with, okay, fine, these are the 14 or 15 areas or you can say the concerns that I need to address. Your job is done, your efforts is going to be very focused, very direct, efforts wastage is going to be less. So this is how you need to treat the syllabus, the demand of this examination, that's it. This is what I wanted to convey. I hope I was not very suggestive. My suggestions were less. I was more to closer to the fact and figures of this examination. What is the syllabus, what is the marks, and now. This is the reason that I am not giving you the list of what to read, what not to read, what we are going to do from once the session begins. No, what we have to do, we'll do once the session begins. That will take care. So this is how I perceive this examination, and I have shared my experience with you. Now I will request Dr. Piyush to share certain things as far as this examination is concerned, and then we'll address the questions, or we can open this session for the question, whatever the question you can ask, we'll try to answer those things. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Piyush Kumar Chaube. I did my master's to PhD from JNU, and I taught in Delhi University, once in Jamia, and now in civil services, teaching for civil services. Look, as sir said, there is just two conditions are there, whether you are in the list or you are out of the list. Now the most important thing is that as you all came here to be in the list, so our preparation starts from where? The day we join the coaching or the day we open the book. I would simply say, the way you make up your mind, now I'll try to be a civil servant. And the moment you decided to join a class, the moment you decided to start your studies. Now, from here, day one, your preparation gets started. And it is important to understand that you need to manage yourself first. After that, you will go for managing your studies. So my first thing, what I'm talking about, I'll talk about how you can manage yourself. Now, if you're coming to this field, you will be full of energy, lot of enthusiasms are there, and with this feeling, okay, I'll go and I'll do it in first this attempt, and you are so, sometimes you become so restless to do the things, so just you keep on doing the things. Okay, I'll create a situation. When you land in Delhi, maybe in Rajendra Nagar, you can find thousands of bookstores are there, hundreds of seniors are there, hundreds of coaching classes are there. From everywhere, so many informations are there. People like us keep on giving you suggestions and ideas, and you are just in between them. And now here, what to choose, what not to choose, where to go, where not to go. That is all about from where your struggle starts. And one more thing I would like to say. Everyone is a unique one. Every person is unique, every personality is unique. There is no pattern. As sir said, there is no trend. I'm simply saying that as there is no pattern to crack the examination. The only pattern that belongs to you, that is inside you, where you decide, okay, this way I'll do that. So you have to choose the correct information according to your personality. You have to choose right information, right things, right book, everything from yourself. But before starting doing all these things, you need to arrange yourself. Now I'm talking about how to arrange. For example, you just came here, somebody suggested for polity, take this Lakshmikant. Everybody normally do this one, go and get the Lakshmikant. After studying 2-3 days, somebody said, why don't you make notes? Then you start making notes also. Just after 25 days, somebody else has come and said, look, I know a topper. He said that D.D. Basu is a very good book over there. And when he said you start studying D.D. Basu and find, yeah, it's interesting. And then again making some notes with the D.D. Basu. And after 2 months, whatever the notes you have made, you will realize that it is not that good. Now I am in better, well-equipped to write or make better notes over there. And then again you start making notes. Now the problem, what I was talking about, when you entered in this field, starts from here. So first my suggestion is that when you are entering into the field, at least for 10-15 days, remain cool, be cool. Don't think in a very hasty way or in very enthusiastic way. don't purchase any book. Now this is what I always suggest to the students. First, try to understand actually what you need, what kind of book you need, and then you start purchasing. That's not a very good strategy that day one you entered in Rajendra Nagar and went to any bookshop and the pile up of notes and books, everything inside your room. In 1 year, there will be that bundle will keep on increasing, and 60% of the books are not going to be read, I am telling you. Okay, I'll say it in another way. Like thousands of information are in our mind, but when it comes to exam, how much of information we use? Hardly you find 10%, 15%. Then why so much of things are in your hard disk? Clean it. My suggestion is very simple. Don't take any book, don't purchase anything when you land here, until and unless you feel that now you understand this exam, now you understand the books, then start purchasing, identifying your books. Without any doubt, just 2-3 books are there. But which book is your book, that will be totally decided by you, even not by me. Although I teach the paper 2 polity, but I cannot say that the D.D. Basu is better for you or Lakshmikant is better for you. That's you will decide which book is better for you. And for this, you need to take some time over there. And that is what I believe the day one preparation is there. Give time to yourself. It's all about giving time to yourself. And here the personal management comes. And again I say simply, as you are in the middle of the information, thousands of information keep on coming, just listen them. Sometimes process them, but become the final decision maker and take some time to take this. That is the first stage I would say. Now, apart from this personal management, the second important thing what I would like to share here, like when you start studying the subject, after choosing your book, you have decided, okay, these are my books, and you started studying how to study. Normally, you can find more or less, I mean, you can find there are other aspects also, but the entire books are, I would say, study material could be easily divided in 2 parts, and you all know that one is the information or what you say facts, and other is basically the concept. When we start our preparation, what we do, we keep on starting with mugging up the facts, and sometimes to test ourselves and test the others, we keep on asking, okay, tell me when this happened, what is this. That's the usual pattern over there. Look, let's give you the feel of preparation. You know, it's not always that we are preparing. Sometimes you get the feel of preparation, yeah, I'm preparing the civil services. But actually I'm preparing the civil services. It required a systematic way. And in the systematic way, the informations or the facts are the secondary things. They are actually a part, you can say, a small portion of a greater concept or a greater design over there. So that is why, rather than making a list of the facts, making notebook copies, having 1,000 of the facts over there and keep on mugging and feeling good, low, I know 10,000 facts. Again, if it is not helpful, then again it has a no meaning, basically. Got my point? So, while studying, it's important to study the things in a conceptual manner and try to fit the information in a bigger concept rather than mug those concepts separately. I'll start with some examples, so it will help you to understand as I teach paper 2. So definitely I'll explain it on the basis of paper 2 only. Normally we believe, I'll start with the example of IR. Normally we have to remember, okay, our Prime Minister this month visited to these places. And we remember he visited to Iran, we remember he visited to United States of America. We make the list. But this is just a fact. ऐसा तो हुआ नहीं ना कि our Prime Minister thought in one morning कि okay, this month I should go to Iran or I should go to the US. Okay? It is because our foreign policy has been already decided who are going to play a major role to serve the Indian interest over there. According to that, we have a plan. Okay? With the Iran, we are going to ensure our, what we say, strategic oil reserve. With the US, maybe will ensure our nuclear base, specifically being part of the NSG, and as the China is putting pressure over us. So the point was that the bigger concept of the Indian foreign policy somewhere to serve a particular interest. And it is because of that we identify that we should go to that place. So the fact is what? Until unless you know why he went over there, what kind of a deal he cracked and why he cracks those deals, the fact in itself has no meaning basically. And what we do while studying, we keep on mugging the fact. Okay, I'll give you another example. Suppose India is a fast growing economy, you can find, and we need a lot of, our industrial sector is going very fast. We need energy security. Now, for the energy security, Indian Prime Minister or anybody else cannot visit to Europe. It's fixed. Either they'll go to the West Asia where they can get the oil, they can go to the Africa from where they can get oil and to a certain extent uranium. So how you can identify if you know what you need in energy security? So point is, it's not about the facts. It's all about the entire gimmick where you can understand these are the broader concept, and under this concept these things has to be done. Okay, I'll explain these things in a other way also. Normally we think specifically in IR, I would say that things in black and white, but normally things are not in black and white. Let me give you an example. If I say relationship of two countries, for example of India with China and India with USA. Normally what we do, we identify US is our friend and China is a little bit hostile country or our rival. But the statement in itself is not correct when you put it in the context. Let me give you context. When it comes to the India and China interaction at the regional level it means in South Asia is a small region, Southeast Asia, again you can find in context of Indian Ocean, you can find India and China are great rivals. China is trying to move inside the Indian Ocean with the famous designs like, what is that design? String of pearls. There's a popular design is there. And at the same time, India is trying to answer them. Last time they had in mains, Project Mosam is there, cooperating with what we say forwarding policy in Indian Ocean region. India is trying to counter China. But when it comes to the global level, now that was the regional level. When it comes to global level, for example, in WTO, when it comes to negotiations for the climate change, for the labor reforms, you can find India and China are close collaborators over there. In fact, both are opposing the US and its friends on the every and each global issues. So when you change the context, you can find the nature of relations keep on changing. The same thing with the US also. On the regional front, you can find India and China are friends, India and US is friends. But when it comes to the global issues, take the issue of environment, take the issue of negotiation in WTO, you can find, and take the issue of patents, India and US on the opposite side. So you change the context, sometimes facts also change its nature over there. So the fact in itself has actually no meaning. It gives us meaning only when it has get a context. While preparation, this context, sometimes generally we refer it concepts. When you study a book, when you study any specific article, try to find out the major concept, the idea that the particular article or book is giving, and how with the facts they are proofing or how they are supporting that idea. That should be the general way of studying anything. Normally it develops, but when you prepare 7-8 months and after that you realize that okay, the facts has nothing to do much, and then still we console ourselves, it is not West, it will help in prelims. But I tell you, how many facts they ask in the prelims? Hardly you can find 10-15 questions are there. And most of the questions are related in the context or with the concept only. So that's the best way of studying anything. Rather than making notes, books, or the facts, the better idea is to start with the, I would say, the concepts, and then try to put the facts. And it is because how it will help you. Sometimes I would say even you ignore a fact in IR, there is nothing wrong about that. Because maybe after 6 months you can get the new facts. But what do we understand? Ki sir, IR keep on changing with every 6 months. Sorry, it's not in 6 months if next 2 visits happen and the IR will be changed. Just a minor event has changed. You know, in the last 65 years, there is just three range of the foreign policy. One was Nehru, the other was Indira Gandhi foreign policy, and the foreign policy after 90s. So the major changes in Indian foreign policy happened just in the last 65 years. Then how is possible, like within span of 6 months, 4 months, 5 months, new visits are happening, new agreements has been signed, it means that the foreign policy has changed? Not at all. Because this is how we understand this subject, international relations. This is same thing with the polity also. We keep on mugging the events what is happening around us and try to get the positive and negative point of a particular issue. But political framework, I mean the framework of Indian polity, how the people should be run, what should be target, it has been already given in the constitution. We never studied about that, why we need a fundamental right. We keep on mugging about the different fundamental rights. Look, why we need a fundamental right, then certain fundamental right has been given. And if a particular fundamental right has been given, then why that particular fundamental right has given? Okay, I'll give you another example. We simply say the fundamental right has been taken from the United States of America. So do the same fundamental rights exist in America what in India? The answer is no. So why these changes are there? Because the idea of fundamental right could be from the US. But what fundamental right should be over there here? It is according to our condition and situations. This is what I am trying to say need to be addressed while your preparation. It cannot be just going through from Article 14 to Article 32, mugging up all the fundamental rights, even 16.1, 16.2, it has no meaning at all, until unless you have the broader understanding. And again, in our school days, in our college days, sometimes we study in that way, or sometimes I would say that we Indians, we love shortcuts basically. So what we do last 5 days, 6 days, at the final time of the exam, all the sleepless nights are there, we prepare and just write our exam and come up with the good marks. That's a general pattern in India to qualify the exam. So we don't get much time to develop such kind of approach. But for the UPSC, you cannot compromise. You need to develop this approach. And again, it cannot be in just overnight. Okay, today I said you understood and tomorrow onwards things has been changed in our life. No. You need to develop it. Again, it's going to take 2-3 months. And sometimes it's become boring. Sometimes it become disrespectful also. Okay, you're preparing for 2 months, tell me this. You are unable to tell him. And you'll feel, oh, what the hell I am doing. There's no need to worry about this. Fix a pattern. And that is, again, I would say, that's the general way of understanding or approaching a subject. And it take always 2-3 months. And maybe with the feeling of the preparation, it will be less. But you might be preparing during these days of it. That you will get the answer of this in a later stage of it. Look, what I'm conveying here, basically, you need to identify your own ways and your own strategy, and some broader things are there. You should not be much influenced by the already established patterns with everything. I mean, they're the biggest disaster that very next day of the preparation you go and purchase note of any coaching classes or get the notes of any topper. That is not going to help you until unless after 6 and 7 months you are in position to understand about to notes basically. The day one you learn and start reading the notes of any topper, it's not going to help you at all basically. So why you are collecting all these things? Simple. This examination is actually very much simple. But we make it a complex. And again, it's not your fault only to make this examination complex. We are also responsible for this, Me, Manoj sir, so many people are there and keep on suggesting you a lot of things, and this examination gradually become complex basically. I'll give you some idea how our brain gets shaped. I'll give you an example. When we say in India, there is a patriarchy and there is a discrimination against the women. You will be surprised to know that it comes from our childhood days. Hindi में जो किताबें आती हैं class 1 की, you can find the statements when a student starts studying the first line, it is like this. राम खेलता है, सीता खाना बनाती है. Now, why सीता खाना बनाती है? Then it starts shaping your mind basically. Okay, that is the work assigned for the girl. Okay, look at all story books all around the world. Every time monster take the princess and it is the prince that is coming. It never happened that the monster take prince and princess came to rescue him. It never happens. And we learn that this is the reality. But it is not always the reality. The reality is beyond that also. I'm just saying this thing, try to see the things beyond the reality. And go with your own senses rather than depending on the others. Grasp the thing from the others. That is true. But take your own decision. And as I said that everybody is unique. It doesn't mean that whether a high profile coaching class is there, a high profile note is there, a high profile teacher is there. Study with them, study with those material which communicates you, which corresponds you, which satisfies you. Rather than that, okay, things are fixed, so I'll go with this one. I always ask this question in my class. We always talk about we are so diversified, I mean every person is a different one. But why our desires, our way of thinking is almost like the same one? If I say what is the meaning of success, everybody lists the same thing. Okay, I want to qualify this exam, I want to earn money, I want to do this. I mean more or less, if you I find out the 10 answer, apart from the civil services, any field, the answer will be more or less same. Why this uniformity is there? Because there is a design which is shaping us in this direction. It's fixed. When you earn 50,000, you might be, you might go to some small restaurant and get tea. But when you earn 5 lakh, the same time you'll feel it is unhygienic and you're not going to less than a 5-star hotel. And why all those who are earning 5 lakhs, they all are going to the 5-star hotel? Answer is the same. It's a well designed. Maybe you like the tea here, but you convince yourself, no, it's unhygienic. I have to go that. Apart from that, if you decide, okay, no, I'll go with my own consciousness, then people around you, what the hell are you doing? You're such a big man and you're going to this dhaba type of thing. And then you'll realize, look, this same thing exactly happened in this field also. When you choose classes, when you choose material, when you choose books, and maybe whatever the set pattern, established things are there, and if you get little bit deviated by your own choice, then first it will be very difficult for you to get deviated, and even once you show this courage, then the people around you are keep on saying, look, they are performing from 100 years and what the hell you are doing. This is what I'm conveying here. Don't be the part of that design. Look, it's not easy, that one, but still I would suggest try to think in your own way. Just identify yourself, organize yourself. And last thing I would say about this exam. How this exam, I'm talking about the sense, the attitude one should have towards this exam. With a story, I'll tell you this one. There was a king in France, and he keep on attacking a neighboring king, and every time he get defeated. And he has to cross a water body and then he has to fight. Then he called a big fighter. He said that, look, we are losing this battle from last 10-15 years and 10-15 times, then how to win this battle? He said, okay, give me your army. Well, no, my army cannot do anything because these army have been defeated 15 times. Well, no, leave that. Give me your army, I'll do that. And they prepared for the war and they crossed the water body and they were in front of the neighboring army. And before he fights, what he did, that he opened all the boats in the open bodies. Then their friends say, why you are opening the boats? He said, there is no way back to come back actually. When you have this in your mind, duality, I can come back, then your intensity, then your preparation, then your motivation, it's all get shaken over there. This is correct about the civil services. You cannot look back. If you are into the fight, then the only option you have, either you will win. I won't say you will be sacrificed, but technically I would say that make your mind, I would say focus your mind on one direction. It cannot be a dual mind over there. Every time, and it is throughout your preparation. It is true in terms of a book, it is true in terms of a coaching, it is true in terms of the different exams. Everything. If your mind will be dual, then definitely it is always going to create trouble for this exam. Thank you so much.